Continuing our coverage of the State of the Union address last night, American Enterprise Institute senior fellow John Bolton, our former ambassador to the United Nations, joins me to talk foreign policy. Mr. Ambassador, a lot of time spent on climate change. Al-Qaeda wasn't even mentioned in this speech. What was your reaction?
Well, Al-Qaeda not mentioned for the first time since the attack of 9/11. And, you know, the president lives in a world of words. He does not live in the real world, as this speech demonstrated, certainly on national security. So he's told us before, the war against Al-Qaeda is basically over, and he didn't mention it last night. And you know what that means?
What does it mean?
It means it's over.
Well,
because he didn't talk about it.
But the president can't wish away the threats against us.
That's exactly what he's doing. That's why I think he is the most radical president we've ever seen. His mentality would fit in British political circles in the 1930s. I believe he thinks that the United States, its strength, its assertiveness, its success across hard and soft power is a major element for instability in the world, and that if the United States pulls back, if we grant others space, like granting Iran a nuclear program, that they'll say, you know, we're not so worried anymore, and the world will be a safer place. This is like the world through the looking glass, but I think that's what he believes, and that speech was full of it last night.
I'm glad that you raised Iran, because the president seemed to attack Congress and Congress's opposition to Iran more than he dressed down the mullahs in Tehran. It was almost like Congress is a bigger threat to our security than Iran is.
Well,
did you get that impression?
Yes, and in his mind it is, because he thinks this proposed sanction legislation is endangering his negotiations with the Ayatollahs. And since he thinks negotiation is the answer here, he's very worried that that they will disrupt his plans. But the reality is the legislation doesn't do anything more than the president himself has already threatened. And I will tell you this as a long-time arms control non-proliferation negotiator. If a deal is so fragile that Congress passing this kind of legislation can tank it, it's not a deal the United States should enter.
Senator Bob Menendez, a Democrat from New Jersey, has been very vocally supportive of continuing sanctions on Iran. He said just in these last hours, he thought the president's speech last night, he said they were, quote, straight out of talking points from Tehran.
Yeah. Look, the president's on a different, a parallel planet to the one we're sitting on. And I think that the moment really has come when the Democrats, if they have the slightest hope of ever having a national security wing again, need to stand up. Menendez is way out in front of the others, but I think these sanctions proposals will pass both the House and the Senate. I think they will overcome a filibuster in the Senate. And I do agree with those who think we may now be seeing the first veto override challenge, because certainly Obama will veto the Kirk-Menendez legislation. We'll see if there are two-thirds in the Senate.
Mr. Ambassador, very quickly, do you think that we risk having another attack on our homeland if the president continues on this strategy, as you said, withdrawing from the world, thinking American leadership is bad?
I think it's a near certainty, and it may take another tragedy. We were woken up by 9/11. He's put us back to sleep. I'm afraid we may need another tragedy to wake us up again.
Okay. Ambassador John Bolton, thanks very much.